guys, it's me again, Ruowen Huang. Before I begin, let me first introduce myself. My name is Ruowen Huang. I'm an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. Sorry, I'm gonna pause a little. In today's episode, I want to talk about Prader-Willi Syndrome. This is a brand new disorder. It's a brand new disorder for me. It's not really brand new. The name is new. I just take nearly a week to look into it. But the reason I want to talk about this is I want to first talk about what I have been doing. I have been doing energy healing for my dear mother. I haven't done energy healing for a really, really, really long time. There's a good reason for it. It's because at an early stage of my spiritual journey, I had done quite fair amount of energy healing. Every time I done the energy healing, I do realize I'm experiencing this constant hunger. Always hungry. So I know it's very hard to describe, but basically that is type of hunger that I'm never full. Like in normal circumstances, I might be able to eat one big bowl of noodle or two. Like I can eat a lot, okay? So I can probably have 2 bowls of noodle. Then I would feel like, I'm about to kill myself. But when I did energy healing, it's like I had this hole in my stomach that never can be filled. And it would come very odd to me. Like even if I stop eating, I would still feel hungry. So I'm always dealing with this hunger like it seems to have no end. So only because I realize how dangerous it is to my body, that my body obviously cannot recognize fullness and all in constant hunger, that I realize eventually if I allow this to happen, then it's gonna jeopardize my body, right? So it took me a while to realize it has something to do with I'm giving energy healing. To a point I start to not doing it, and then it does change my way of eating. I'm able to control us normally, and I actually sense the fullness and all that. So in the past nearly several months, my mom is undergoing chemo and all that. So since I'm living so far away from her, so the only thing I can contribute, I can help her out, is the energy healing. I have a better way around it now, but that doesn't erase that hunger still. So what I'm doing nowadays is, if I still go ahead and give my mom energy healing, I will in result still feel endless hunger. So the best way for me to do is I often try to do it before I go to sleep. Once I did it after I sleep, like right before I sleep, I will experience hunger, but I'm too tired to eat anything. So I will then fall asleep, have my body come to this restoration or recovery mode. Next morning, I still feel hunger, but then I start to realize usually due to the energy giving out, I tend to seeking for carb. But instead of as before, I would experience such a strong hunger. I'm constantly eating. Now after my body got full, recovered a little bit, my hunger will cut in half. Then I will, knowing I'm still feeling hungry and constantly craving for carb, I decided that's not the only way for me to restore my hunger, because food is not going to be the only source. Because if I focusing on food to be the only source, trust me, it's never enough. Never enough. So what I would do is I would start seeking natural energy that will fill me up. Now, I will come back to this later on, and I will talk about this related to Prader-Willi Syndrome. So when I was describing this endless hunger to my friend was talking to me about this, someone she know had this Prader-Willi Syndrome. It's exactly same behavior as I am. So they never feel full, they feel constant hunger and that's why their parents very often result in locking the food up. If you want to look into any medical things, let me say this again. I should have said this at the very beginning. I'm not a doctor. I'm not planning to explain this disease as a doctor. I'm planning to share with you my personal experience about this syndrome using a psychic point of view, hoping it would give you some help. So remember this again. I'm not trying to be like a doctor. I'm trying to give you some extra help just in case you have already seen the doctor and then you still wish there's something else you can do. So while sharing with my friends about this, my friends then describing this to me and say there's someone she knows. So due to that, I learned the word. And due to the word, I start Googling, I start observing people, I start try to collect in a database to understand. I first thought that's only energy giving, that's why I feel the hunger. But then I realized those disorder really exist. So is this based on genetic disorder, or part of your gene is not working? Therefore, people who have that problem will constantly feel hungry of that. Now, I really understand what it is. It doesn't matter how I describe it to people. People will say, how can you not feel full? I know how it feels, like you simply cannot feel full. But for many of you who are suffering through this syndrome, for many of parents who raise their kids dealing with Prader-Willi Syndrome, I have a little advice for you. Based on all the database I actually look into, based on my own personal experience and understanding the hunger never be filled, it's not like we don't want to, it's just because you got no idea how hungry we are. Lucky for me, I only experienced that when I constantly using my energy to heal other people. But unfortunately for many of you, you might deal with this as a daily task. For a soul who constantly let go of things, then they most likely will develop this syndrome in this life. What does that mean is, in the previous life or whatever experience they had prior to this life, they constantly short of resource. They short of passion. They short of food. They short of things. Therefore, they have this big hole, like almost a black hole in them, like they never really know how to feel. Unlikely is generating through one life. Most likely is their soul have gone through life after life short of source. Therefore, they will come to this point like nothing is enough for them. So, in many episodes ago, I talked about your body will simply react to how your soul command. If your soul is always feeling, I never got given enough, I'm short of source of things like that, your body will only naturally to behave this way. So the hunger for many of you who have Prader-Willi Syndrome, I really want to suggest to you is your hunger is not only hungry for food, not for eating food, but also hungry for just about everything else. What do I mean by everything else? Anything that would make you excited, anything that would make you passionate about things, anything that would make you feel full of life, those are all your food source. So unlike normal people, they probably could do something else, and then they can simply just have 1 meal, 2 meals a day and get themselves taken care of. Listen, you are not. You need food source from everywhere else. That is, you need to find out your passion, what you like to do, what excites you. You need to enjoy like nature. You just have to go out and enjoy the nature. You have to understand, what kind of nature give out energy that you are actually able to take it in. You need to take some food, but understand, most likely food will only be on one little part of your energy source. So unfortunately for many of you have this disease, you need to consider all kind of food source. So only when you start to consider all kind of food source, then you will start to realize how it fulfills you in a way that you feel full. So for you to not able to have that gene functioning normally, it goes with your soul. Your soul has constantly feeling lack of things. So if you put all that energy only in the food, it will never be enough. How do I know? Because it never was enough for me. I didn't know, so I get myself a couple more pounds. Couple more is being gentle, but quite a lot of weight. But what I'm saying is you need to understand. You need to understand all kind of source that you can get. So now I'm going to talk about how I recover. Usually one energy healing take me about 3 days to recover. So you are in constant hunger. That means your activity in the day had to be way more than I do. So how do I do it? I will eat food, of course, just like everything else, but then I will put it on the side for now. Now, after my energy healing, I need to sleep. Sleep is one key thing for your soul to rejuvenate, to feel the energy again. So sleep is very important. So many of you have this syndrome. I do suggest you to make sure your sleep quality is good. So if you can sleep deeply, find any way can relax your mind. Find any way that you can get into that deep sleep mode, because your body needs that to recover. Then when you are awake, you need to create some kind of passion, interest, habit like you dying to wake up for. You cannot wait to want to wake up every morning just to do it. You cannot wait to just want to do something about it. Like every time you think about it, you feel like your blood are rushing through your body. You are so excited. You just cannot wait. So you need to do that. Okay, because that is going to be another big food source that you're going to be able to generate for yourself by doing something you love and passionate about. So now we cover 3 things. Now we got 2 more things you have to cover in a day. Okay, then you have to do exercise. I know you are saying, well, but I'm hungry. How can I do exercise? See, your body need to experience some kind of movement or excitement for it to feel like, oh my God, I got my food. Exercise is really the food for your body. You do have to create exercise. So as lazy as I am, if I give out the energy healing, almost next day I will voluntarily want to go out for a walk. I will voluntarily want to do something more, because I know my body needs some kind of activity to make it feel the food source. So many people have the Prader-Willi Syndrome. You do have 5 food source. 5. Food, sleep, and then you have to create your interest, and you have to exercise. And guess what's the last one? Last one, you have to be able to connect with the nature. You have to be able to get majority of your energy, that is your energy food source, from the nature. If you are still feeling hungry, you're constantly feeling, oh my God, I'm hungry. It's really unbearable feeling. It's because it's most likely you are giving out your energy without even knowing it. It's most likely you're taking in other people's energy without knowing it. It's inevitable, like that we often see some people with a negative energy. What are we going to do, right? You would take some out, we give some in, we take some in. We don't know. Now you have to be very aware what kind of energy you are taking in. If you are not quite sure the people you're dealing with, if you hang out with a very positive people, you realize, oh my God, when I hang out with positive people, I don't even notice I'm hungry. Why so? Because your energy need to be fed. So if your energy need to be fed and you don't know people you're dealing with is either negative or positive, guess what? There's always nature out there that you can absorb, taking in their energy. My best suggestion to you is find a good park or find a good nature. I personally like to go to the park because you know what? Tree give out energy all the time. And tree's energy is very feeling compared to flower or the tree. I hope that makes sense to you, but take my word for it for now, okay? If you want to get the energy from the nature, the best person, best energy source you want to get would be tree. It would be more feeling. So if you take energy from the tree, is equivalent to eating a steak, while you taking the energy from the grass is equivalent to having an appetizer. So my suggestion to you, since you're hungry all the time, learn to take energy from the nature, and I suggest tree would be a good person to take it from. So find some park, a beautiful tree that you love, because they regenerate every day anyway. They do. Or you can change different tree. Yeah, try not to stay with one tree, but try to find a park, okay? So find a park full of tree, and then that you really enjoy yourself being in that environment, which give your whole body a sense of zen. Then take a couple deep breaths, breathing in with your nose, breathe out with your mouth as slow as you can. 3 times to 5 times. Usually that will help you clear your feeling. Now, feeling yourself connecting with tree. Feel like all the tree start pulling food in you. You have to absorb it and eating it. Seriously, if I have a good park, I have a really good tree willing to give me a lot of source, I recover way faster than 3 days, and I believe you can too. So take it all in. So consume, inhale their energy that you were eating food. Seriously, they are the food source, and you have to be aware of using it. So in this very particular episode, I am suggesting many of you who suffer through this syndrome, or many of you who have children or someone you know suffering through this syndrome, to give you a suggestion that may help you from a psychic point of view. Is the reason you are experiencing this, the reason you are dealing with it, is it because your soul has been hungry for too long. But when I say hungry, it's not necessarily just food, it's everything else. If you have already developed is Prader-Willi Syndrome, that means your soul wants more than just food. I give you 5 categories. If you can most likely get the meat in a day, you should stop. I would say you would not stop. I don't know. For me, I do stop, but then again, I'm not diagnosed that. But what I'm saying is, it will make you feel less hungry. So instead of relying on one food source to give you energy, everybody had to lock the food up. I would say follow the 5 steps. First, food source. When you want to follow the food source, try to make sure you got the organic food. Try to make sure you got the original form, because those kind of energy is not being jeopardized. It's not being alternative. It's not being altered in any way. You most likely not only eat the food, but you also got the full energy of original food source. So try to eat healthy. I don't know, healthy, whatever healthy. Cannot be just most original. You will get not only the food, but also the original form of the energy. That's what I'm trying to suggest. Then make sure you sleep well, because sleeping will also give you a food source that you will so need. Then make sure you develop a habit, an interest, something you're passionate about. You have to have something you're passionate about in your life, because that passion is going to fulfill another fullness that you were missing. Then you do need to exercise. Pick an exercise you love to do. Pick an exercise you're addicted to it. It will give your body some kind of food. Then inhaling from the nature. Take the energy from the nature. If you have someone really positive, but human are quite unstable sometimes, I would say nature is usually quite consistent. do learn to take the food source from them. So hopefully with 5 food sources instead of 1 food source, you will feel more content with that hunger feeling you feel. So anyway, hope this would give you a little bit tips and idea. Understand, I'm not a doctor, but if you want to do something about it, those are something you can try, okay? So if you like what I'm doing, you can always join me live on Facebook or go to subscribe my YouTube channel or my website, ruowen.com. Till then, next time, bye now.